Hi, this is Leland Sklar, and I am hanging with Neve, and I am having the best time of my life.
Live with Neve, Fridays on the East Coast from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
All right, all right. How about it? Here you are, you're live with Neve. I am high in Highlands, and I'm also looking outside. It's a complete whiteout. I wish I could turn on the camera in the other direction. Excuse me, I feel like Akbar, the dead terrorist. I seem to have a little Flemish problem for those of Belgian descent. Anyhow, here you are, you're on Live with Neve. At any rate, what happened? I'm back. Imagine that. For anybody watching, I have great guests coming on. I have, quote the Donald, I have the best backdrop. This is from our friends in Kabul. Seriously, my friend Zabi Habahubula is the photographer of this lovely scene. It's taken from downtown Kabul, and I know it's cool. It gives me rays shooting out of my head, which is usually what happens when I talk too much. Anyhow, we're live. It's about 2:11. It's almost half past the hour here. I'm in New York. Julie is in Julie is in Tampa. And I have Paula and Scotty coming on from Gypsy Queen, and they're going to kick your ass. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about rock and roll, pre and post COVID. We've got all kinds of stuff. Julie, how are you today? You look like you're chilly. I don't hear you. Where'd she go? Hello? Your mic's off. Your mute's off. Anyhow, I don't hear you, Jules. No, you're gone. This is great fun. Not only do we have a blizzard, your mic shows is muted on my end. Let me see what this says. Maybe it's muted here. Is it? I can't unmute you.
I keep on muting. It's automatically muting me. It must know. It's a sensor. It must know my mouth.
Okay, well, you know what's happening is I think John Spear really does need to be phoned in. For everybody watching, we're going to have Gypsy Queen on in a minute, and Julie and I are just going to make fun of the medium of technology for a moment. Can you hear me, Julie, without your ears on?
Yeah, I can hear fine. It's funny how all the equipment that we're supposed to use to work doesn't work, but all the other stuff does.
Well, you know, that's okay because we've conquered it. Right now, this has all the makings of a Stephen King novel. We're having paranormal occurrences that'll start happening in Miami. We've got snow coming down, which is sort of like, here's Johnny.
Right, exactly.
But listen, let's talk rock and roll. Paula and her sister had a great band, and I'm going to let Paula talk about it. She still has it. She's still carrying the rock and roll torch, still rocking. The girls got stories, and we're here to kind of talk to her and Scotty, and they are working on a new album, which anybody listening, I haven't even heard it, but I'm going to give it an endorsement ahead of time because I've heard all the other stuff they've done. There's a lot of their stuff on YouTube, so check them out there. And hell, I think we ought to bring in Miami. Let's add them to the story of the paranormal. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Greetings from Miami.
Greeting.
All right. So tell me, how cold is it in Miami today?
Actually, it's in the 70s, the high 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So, but we did have some cold weather for a few days.
I get it. The iguanas are not falling from the trees yet, so I guess all is well in Miami.
Yeah, all is well.
Hey, you know, that's a good, some people's community, that can be considered dinner. I mean, I've eaten iguana down in Costa Rica, so why not, you know?
Really?
I'd go down, bring them over to my favorite chef somewhere and, you know, Miami dinner. It's called mountain chicken is what they referred it to.
Yeah, it's like chicken.
It's like everything tastes like chicken that's supposed to be weird, you know?
Exactly.
So,
I heard human flesh is supposed to taste like chicken, too.
Oh, yeah, it's so hard down there, man. Life is just, I once sat there on the boulevard, you know, on Collins Avenue, pretty drunk and enjoying just the life that was cruising around me. And I thought, you know, when I get old, even if I'm a wino, I'm going to move to Miami Beach because even the winos looked a little happier. You know, people would give them a tip here and there. You know, you could sit out there with your old guitar and just be part of the whole scene. And you know what? If you got to be a wino, why not? You know, it's like either there or maybe Redondo Beach out there, you know. I'm just saying, got to go somewhere where the...
Yeah.
Say again?
Be a wino where it's warm.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's the makings of a song. I want to be a wino where it's warm. Where it's warm. Yeah.
Gotta be a wino Will you feel the heat?
I love it. There we go. You know, I wrote or I didn't write a song. One of our favorite friends, and I'm just having a brain fart. Gosh, it'll come to me in a second, but she wrote a song for me because we had a particularly disturbing show, and it just got out of hand and crazy. So she had to write a song, and it's great fun. Julie's going to correct me in a minute and tell me who I'm referring to.
Cool.
Oh, and we have some people watching already who are up here in the snowbound Alps of New York, we'll call it.
Hi, snow people.
Yeah. We love New York, by the way.
I'm from Buffalo.
Yeah, she's from New York.
Oh, yeah, I know you are.
And the Bills almost made it to the Super Bowl. Almost.
My girlfriend is from Angola, so you know where that is.
Right.
Where did you grow up?
Buffalo.
But Buffalo, I mean, which town or in downtown? Or?
Tonawanda.
Okay. Tonawanda. I know, my son lives in Rochester, so I know, and I've been through there. I've been through that whole area in my job and in pleasure and with working. So I've driven those roads in this weather.
It's the home of great chicken wings, pizza, and beautiful women.
Yes, it is. That's it. It's a nice place to visit, but again, it's a nice place to get away from too.
Right.
It's that saying all this. There is Niagara Falls. That is beautiful, and I've loved taking my son there when he was a little guy. It's just always such a big deal, when you're young and the world's still your oyster. But and get people like me and probably you, because you're still doing rock and roll. It's in my blood. There's nothing else I can do but play in a band. And like today, we're having a talk about music, but it's all interrelated because music and rock and roll and video and technology, you end up with some cool friends over the years.
We've played in New York. We've played in New York.
The Cat Club.
Yeah, we played the Cat Club. I played a lot of places in New York with Paula and a lot of different places. With Millie Jackson, I did some soul.
Okay.
And also the Beacon. I played the Beacon Theater.
My favorite venue up here. I love that room.
Love it. Love New York.
Yeah, well, good. Well, when you guys are up here, when you all are up here, I live just a little bit north of Asbury Park. I'm in a town called Highlands. We have a ferry to New York, so it's 40 minutes. You can have a drink coming or going if you're inclined. I don't drink anymore, but that's okay. I did enjoy it when I was. It was always nice after killing yourself in Manhattan to come home and not have to be on the Turnpike or the Parkway or any of that stuff. So let's get back to you guys. What's next for y'all? Tell me, rather than me talk, can one of you guys, Paul, just give us the basics.
We'll tell you some good news. A while ago, we actually played the White House, which was an experience. That was in December 2019, we played the White House. Yeah. And that was an experience.
I watched you guys.
What was the other dead actor? That actor.
Angelina Jones.
John Boyd. We did see John Boyd.
Oh yeah, right, John Boyd.
John Boyd was one. Scotty's going, and I'm singing. Scotty's going like this to me. I'm like, what?
But he's asking about new stuff coming up.
New stuff. Okay, so we have two. We have actually two records in the works right now. We have one that's based on songs for movies. And then we have another one that's a play we've written, a rock and roll play that we've written.
Like a musical, yeah.
Like a musical.
Oh, cool.
So we do have a song coming up in a movie soon. I can't.
Yeah, Major Motion Picture. We have a song called "Victim" that's going to be on an amazing.
Tell us about the bit of the story behind the rock opera. Like, just dissect it briefly. What is it based on? And
it's kind of autobiographical, I guess, because it's based on. Do I really say? It's basically based on someone being connected to a narcissist very closely. And
a relationship.
What happens? A relationship where someone's a narcissist.
Yeah.
A lot of people can relate to that.
But it's comedy too, though. It's not
all tragedy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of comedy in relationships too, with the tragedy. So it's about both,
I'm proof of that. There's been an element of comedy in all of my relationships.
Yeah.
If you don't laugh at it, it'll make you crazy. I find that's with most things in life. If you don't, I have a healthy and dark sense of humor that sometimes slips out at awkward moments.
Oh, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? I was at a funeral once, and I've heard people describe laughing at a funeral, but I did. I sat there and just cracked up and felt so out of place, and everybody looks at you kind of funny. But you know what? I know the person upstairs or wherever he was laughing. He was chuckling the fact that I was cracking up. He's probably like, you asshole. I mean, just, but life is fun. And I don't know. I don't want to get digressed because hell, it's a nice day and I could just sit here and ramble for about 2 hours. Tell me about the history of Gypsy Queen, basically.
Okay, so basically, we were born in Miami, and we had lots of adventures. We did the circuit all around Florida, all up and down the coast, and that was called the A Circuit, and all the A bands did that thing. And we got hooked up with Jack Douglas, who, of course, everyone knows who Jack Douglas, the producer. He did.
He's a Tampa resident now.
John Lennon, Cheap Trick, all
Yeah, he lives in Clearwater now.
Oh, really? Because he was building a studio in California not too long ago.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, it's good to be Jack.
Yeah, it's good to be Jack.
It's good to be.
So he did our first record and actually our second EP.
Yeah.
As well, and but unfortunately we had him during his bad time, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But things were good. And meanwhile we went and we toured all around the world, and which was exciting. We lived in a flat in London together.
We recorded another album there.
Recorded another record there, but which we produced ourselves.
Right.
And it was great. We did
I'm sure.
A lot of great. We had adventures that most people just dream of.
Played in Russia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we played in Russia 2 months before the wall came down.
Yeah, it was communist when we played in Leningrad Stadium 5 nights.
Which is now St. Petersburg again, which was incredible.
Right. Yeah.
We never felt.
We're one of the first rock bands to play there, actually. Gypsy Queen was playing
wow.
Communist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
After the wall fell, that's great.
Yeah, we've died. I always say we've dined in the finest restaurants in Paris, and then the next day you wonder how you're going to buy McDonald's.
Yeah, right.
Up and down, but so after we had our second record deal, our first record deal.
Yeah.
We unfortunately got mixed up with a bad manager.
Oh, and you imagine that. God, was he kind of greasy and around the edges and a little slimy from the get-go? Get worse over time, even.
Absolutely right. So the band disbanded for a while, and Pam and I moved out to Los Angeles. We had another band called Cellmates with another label, and
you're on a major label, Scotty Brothers label.
And so what happened was, after a while, Pam and I just we both got married, had kids. I had children; she didn't have any children. And meanwhile, we kept Gypsy Queen alive. We still kept. We still have reunions, and Scotty would come out and we'd do writing. And
we did a country album.
Country rock record, actually.
Yeah. Which you can get that too. That's available. Country rock is available, and the Gypsy Queen stuff is available on iTunes. So you can
great.
Yeah. And we did a reunion show back in September 2014, correct?
Yeah.
And a few weeks later, my sister unexpectedly passed, and I talk about it like I'm detached, from the situation. I can't, really get into it.
Right.
But she passed, and I was just.
I remember, yes.
Because my sister and I were like so incredibly close, and I remember Scotty came and stayed at my house with me for a week after she passed, and Kenny, our drummer, and it just so comforting. And 2 years later, my marriage had ended. My really long-term marriage, 24, which is one of the songs I sent you. So I had so much pain inside me. I begged Scotty. I said, Scotty, you got to come and help me out. You got to help. We got to write this. And so Scotty came to LA, and we wrote 25 songs like in 2.5 days. It just was pouring out.
Yeah,
sure.
That's how you get to the pain. Remember, you were talking about that. It's a lot of times the way to get to the pain is you create something out of it.
Yes.
Deal with it.
And we're lucky we have that outlet. So.
Right.
After that, we went in the studio and recorded, and then that record you can find on iTunes.
Yeah, it's called Gypsy Queen. Is an album.
And for all those watching, this album is way cheaper than psychotherapy. I always consider us therapists of a sort. Nothing like rock and roll to make people feel good. That feeling when the lights go down, and you come out and you just kick it right in the ass. I'm a drummer, so I'm just like, I feel like a rock god up there, even if I'm not a rock god, man. I don't care the venue or where I'm at. I'm going to give it my best. And, rock and roll is, I've seen small bands that just blow me away because there's only 10 people in there and they still get up and they kick their ass. They don't, they don't get up and like look lame. There's nothing worse than a band of people who look like they're miserable doing what they're doing. And I've been there a time or two. I once had a New Year's Eve that was straight out of like a Warren Zevon song. And I mean, it's a wonder I didn't end up like shooting myself. It was such an evil night. It was such a bad gig with the wrong people all around. I was lonely playing in a band that I hated the tunes. I was strictly doing it for the cash. And the owners, they weren't a fun hang. They weren't like fun to do it. They were all dicks. The guy running the band was like this Elvis wannabe guy. And it was just like, I felt like somebody was taking an ice pick and jam it into the knuckle between my first and second joint while I'm on the air going, he was so tedious, you'd bite your teeth. And all I could tell you is it was one of those nights that it was so savage that I said, I'll never do this. I'm not playing with a bunch of dicks for a little bit of cash and wasting my time, because I'd rather have somebody in the band who's a little marginal, but they got the winning personality and they're coachable and trainable. It's that feeling you get, you can tell, but they're so hard to find. Hence, you guys have been together for a long time, which I respect.
We have, we're families. Matter of fact, we're going for Super Bowl to our bass player's house.
Yeah. We get along.
I have to make my obligatory bass player joke because Julie's a bass player. Julie, come on up here. We're going to, at least you have to be able to defend yourself.
Oh, really? There's a point there.
Jules. All right, babe. Which bass player joke is it today?
No, you tell me.
Bass player's handshake? Let me give me your other hand. Here's a bass player's handshake. Unless, of course, you play with the pick.
Well, no, actually, I use 4. I'm one of those talented ones. I can use all my fingers and my thumb if I need to.
Wow, that sounds. There are people who pay for that service.
Yes, there are. I think about that often and wonder how
the censors are going to. Oh, I'm going to put $1 in the naughty jar. Oh shit, it's going over. By the end of the show, I'll be
saved up.
Yeah, right. I'm going to save it up for my next trip during the COVID episode here. So you want to play? Listen, it's 2:28. We're going to take a quick break. Hey, Bonnie, we got somebody from out in your neck of the woods. Somebody out in L.A. is checking in. Bonnie Mobbs. How are you, Bonnie? We're glad you're here. And
Hi, Bonnie.
we're just getting started.
Where in LA is she from?
She's got a. We'll have to ask her.
Real quick, and we'll be right back.
We'll find out.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle Metz, and I'm on Live with Neve.
All right. Here we are. It is 1:30, and we're looking at a snow whiteout. I do not see any cars on the bridge. I don't see any plowing. They have plowed it once or twice, but it is. I haven't seen a car now for 5 minutes, which is really crazy. Broadcasting from High in Highlands, excuse me. Want to make sure the locals don't get nervous. I already annoy them enough. At any rate, we're talking to Gypsy Queen, band from LA and from Florida, and they've been everywhere. And we're going to have them back on, talk some more music, and then we're going to go ahead and have them play a little bit. So, bring them back on here. Hey, guys, we're back.
Hey.
Hi. You guys down there with the 70-year, the temperature's killing me. It's been a while, but that's okay, because one of the reasons I moved here to the New York area, aside from it being New York, is the seasons are cool. But it's really cool if you can just hop on the plane to either Miami or somewhere nice and warm.
Yeah.
I like California because California's kind of got the best of it all.
Yes.
Wear your cool clothes at night because it always gets cool.
Right. It has so many charms. I love it out there. I confess. In fact, I just can't. I keep hoping NAMM's going to come back, and I'll be out there and have a good reason, and we'll be safe and can hang, and it's just such a fun time. And everybody I know is jonesing for it because it's like it's the only time a lot of people get to see each other, every year or two.
Yeah.
Because people are working, and everybody's going, well, I'm not working that week,
Yeah.
A lot of trouble has started and ended there.
Yeah.
A lot of fun stories that cannot be told.
Yes.
That's the fact. So what have you guys been up to with the new record now? Let's talk about that a little bit.
You were talking about an album can be good psychotherapy, right? Well,
right.
This album has a song on it called Psycho Cinema, and it's about how the world has kind of gone crazy right now. The world right now is still even though we got a new president and all the things, we're still in a state of like craziness, and this album deals with all that. And we actually kind of made it like about movie characters. The song, movies have like Frankenstein and zombies and all that. The world's almost become like that, with the virus and everything. So we, that's basically one of the songs in there. It's just a rock song, called Psycho Cinema.
Psycho Cinema, everybody. You got to check that out. And after the show, go ahead. Where can they find Psycho Cinema?
They can check out Psycho Cinema. We did a video for it, but the recording of it actually isn't released yet. We're actually just
okay.
Today.
Yeah, we're still in the process of
But we did do a little because it was in the Times, with the Psycho Cinema.
There is a video on Facebook right now
and YouTube.
Okay.
It's on YouTube. Oh, it's on YouTube. Okay.
Cool. Cool. Well, I look forward to. When did you release it?
Right before Halloween, like a few days before Halloween.
Oh, okay. Then I have seen it. I have seen it.
Did you like it?
I loved it. In fact, I reached out to your director just to say hello because I thought it was so cool. Yeah. And I wrote her name down because I liked the video so much. And I always keep people in my, my mental directory of people who are good that I might call and say, hey, I've got this project, or a friend of mine has a project, that whole interconnect network thing that seems to keep us all making a living. I think everybody in the music biz is wearing so many hats. You kind of, depending on the tightness of your group, if you have the right people, it just runs like a clock. And then, if you have that one cog in the wheel who's just kind of lame and doesn't, it's like a speed bump every day. It could be something different for months. There's always a good excuse, but no real reason. And I love it. You guys seem to have such a good family thing. You're like the work wife and husband.
We do. We can fight though too.
we have great fights because our fights are not like a typical band fight. Remember, there's a woman in the band, right?
Yeah.
The dynamic of a band fight, right? But it's a good thing. It's actually kind of a good thing. A woman will bring peace quicker to the fight,
Yes.
And he likes it because I cook for him.
Yeah, she's a great cook.
That
kind of fixes everything, right? Everyone's stressed out. Hey, by the way, I just made you some magic brownies.
Yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with I eat really good. I love food. And, wherever I go, it's like there's always good food in New York. Although now it's all fucked up. The best. But now it's like so weird. I haven't been in it's got to be a month and a half.
Right.
And it's just, I don't have any reason to go in right now. There's nothing happening. We were going to go in and shoot some ads. It's weird when you're outside in that environment. Like I grew up in the New York area. Then I moved to Florida in my 15th year. I was going to boarding school. Mom moved to Florida. Long story, but I ended up there. And so I'm kind of an interesting blend of a Southern man and a New York guy. I'm kind of a redneck. I don't know. I'm a New York redneck is how I would describe it. But you know what? It's good because
that's a country song. That'll be it.
There we go. I'll tell you, man. Next time we hang, we'll do a 2-hour writing session. We probably come up with 10 songs in like 10 minutes each.
Absolutely.
I love having that when you just get like, people don't understand how great it feels to be a musician, birth something out of your hand, your minds, and some
friends.
It
just comes out of thin air.
Right.
And I always have the viewpoint that you're never out of ideas. It's
right.
People think they only have so many ideas. It's a never-ending reservoir.
And something I'll say too, getting back to your director, I liked the vividness of what she did. And it was just, it looked like I would have said something Tom Petty would have paid a lot of money for, a lot more. And I mean that because I'm the, you guys know, Kenny McGee and I go like way back a long time. And I worked on some stuff with him. I played the drums when his drummer had a DUI a couple times because we were working in the studio together on something. We were trying to make some country music, a country version of Kenny, if you will. And while we were doing it, his drummer got in some trouble, and so we'd be working at the studio a couple times.
How many years ago was this?
Oh, this is like, let me think about it now. It would have been in the 90s, 97, 98.
Yeah.
And I forget where I was going to go with it, but oh, God, I hate it when that happens.
Songs, writing.
Oh, so his drummer was flaking, and so I got to go and gig with him and the guys, and it was great fun because I knew all the tunes anyway, and Kenny's great fun. His band's always a good hang, and we just it was fun, and that's like such a small musical world that we all end up. The 6 steps of separation that we've all have, like they bump in, like all of our life is on a Venn diagram. In the music community in Florida, I know this to be true. Everybody, we're all happy to see somebody in LA doing good. You're happy when they're here. But I mean, there's an amazing number of great musicians coming out of Florida over the decades.
Absolutely. I mean, back in the 80s, there was such a scene happening in Tampa and such a scene actually in Miami too. I don't know why so many bands weren't just plucked up out of here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm actually writing a book about the Tampa music scene, and it's called Across Tampa Bay, The History of Music in Tampa and the Bay Area from 1960 to the present.
A lot.
And
cool.
I mean, the present, I thought I would have had it done like pretty close to this time, but I've just scratched the tip of the cake because I'm going to get everybody I can, the engineers, the booking agents, the musicians, the club owners. Yeah. I'm going to make it, I hope it'll be the best thing that anybody's read about it so far. And whether that happens, I'm a picky guy and I'll take my time. God willing, I'll be here for enough time to do it right. This idea started the idea started on my radio. I started when this first began. I was like, I'm going to have a Tampa Music Day. So I'm going to call everybody I know and I'm going to get them all on. We'll do 4 15-minute segments and we'll be done. Speaking of that, I'm watching the clock. And so we came together. Again, I hate it when I'm multitasking. My brain gets distracted. That's terrible. Shit. Anyway, the book. Sorry. That was like a little train wreck there, but that's okay.
Should we go to break?
Going to have. Do we need to go to a break?
Okay.
Okay, we're going to a break.
Let's do that.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here. You're not, but maybe you are. Thank you. Live with Neve, coming right up.
And I'm here too. Hi, everybody. See you next time.
Okay, back to me. Hi, everybody. I'm Jerry Murata. Coming this fall, the Live with Neve show, featuring the one, the only, the inimitable, Jerry Murata.
We keep that for the blooper reel. Try it one more time.
Here we are. No, that's I didn't.
That
wasn't a mistake.
Oh, right.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Moranis.
Live with Neve, Fridays on the East Coast from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Follow, subscribe, like us anywhere you find webcasts and on all of our social media to get bonus material.
All right. I can't help but get a smile when I see Jerry Murata. He's such a goof. Jerry, happy birthday to you. It was good seeing your show last night. I'm glad you had a good birthday. It's funny, I was watching Jerry Murata's birthday party last night from the studio up in Woodstock. And his show started sort of like mine occasionally does, or like it just happens on you can be doing anything. If you're in the entertainment biz, you just never know what might happen. And Jerry was on there yesterday trying to get his show on the air. And he was sitting literally talking into a cell phone behind his drum kit before the show, trying to get the video link. And it was pretty funny and it was fun. For anybody who doesn't know who Jerry, I was about to call him Ricky, and now he's really going to laugh when he watches this. He's going to be like, yeah, you've been smoking that good shit too much, buddy. And he may be right. At any rate, his show was great. Check out Jerry Murata. He is on YouTube, and he kicks ass. Getting back to, we have some really good guests on today. We have Gypsy Queen, and here they are, and they're going to play some rock and roll for us. Look at that. What kind of guitar you got there? Is that an Ovation?
Yeah, remember Glenn Campbell used to play these. These Ovations are great.
Oh, they are killer. I love them. I really want a 12-string.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous. Well, cool. So what are you playing for us?
Well, all right. So we talked about the record that we made after my sister died. And
Right.
you know, songs about her, and there were songs, about
Yes.
I had like a spiritual awakening after she died. And this is a song that we're going to do called Happy. And it's a song about, it's your choice whether to be happy or not. You can't blame extenuating circumstances. It's a personal decision whether you want to be happy or sad.
Absolutely.
And because things are what they are. It's your thoughts make you good or bad. You could say, this hat, it's a bit old, it's a bit dusty, it sucks. Or I could say, hey, this hat's pretty cool. It's a bolero. It makes me look good. It's your thoughts that make it good or bad. And that's what this song is about. So it's an acoustic piece, and so yeah, let's do it, Scott.
All right. Can't wait.
It was not here to make you happy. Look around to see if things are what they are. Good or bad, it's in your hands. It was not here to make you happy. You can find happiness in any simple thing. You can find joy. It's a choice you have to make. It was not here to make you happy. Look around to see things are what they are. Good or bad, it's in your head. It was not here to make you happy. You can find happiness in any simple thing. You can find joy. It's a choice you have to make. But the world ain't here to make you happy. It goes on, but we're just making that ending right now. But anyway, yeah. Well, thank you.
All right. That was very nice. That's very nice.
Thank you.
So, do you have any more? Yep.
Yeah, that's on the record.
That's a great song.
It's on the last one.
I like
it's
it.
on Amazon and iTunes.
And Pandora.
And Pandora.
And Pandora. All of the usual locations. And if you can't find them and you're watching the show, send me a private message and I'll send you their way. All right? You guys are watching the show. We're here with Paula and Scotty from Gypsy Queen. And I'm having a great time. I'm glad you all are here. Again, I keep talking about your weather. As I look out, there's a cloud going over the bridge. The Atlantic Ocean's like a quarter of a mile from me. And I can't see it. It's not visible at all. The bridge from over there is like got a plow moving very slow, and there's 3 cars. It's about the speed they're moving.
Wow.
Oh, look. Wonderful drummer grip hand thing. No. It's hell getting old, man. All this shit starts to hurt and break down. You got to just tough on through it. Right. I always tell people, do not mess with old rockers. They're strong and they're feisty, man. So tell me, when are you going back to LA?
Probably in about a week or so. I came here about a week ago. But in LA, there's nobody playing. Nobody's playing.
I know.
For a year now. The last thing I did was at the Whiskey, and that was a year ago.
I
And
remember
since
that
then,
event. Right.
yeah, and nobody's playing at all. It's like, it's crazy. And we haven't been able to go to restaurants or anything, but I think they just opened up the weekend I left last weekend. They just were opening up outside. So I don't know what's going to happen now because a lot of places are closed for good.
Well, I don't know either because here in New York, I just figure it's just going to be on. We're stuck in perpetually weird until points yet unannounced. I mean, you don't really know what the hell is going to go on here on a day-to-day basis. The governors of both states.
And did you get COVID at all, or anybody you know?
Have I? No, I have not had COVID, but I was in recovery from some self-inflicted damage for a long time prior to this. I'd been in the hospital for 9 months, and during that time, I got out in 19, which is previous to March of 20 when COVID really hit. I was starting to feel somewhat back to my normal self by about Christmas time for the most part. And I wanted to be like, playing and doing shit to get better and stronger and be back at it. It's just what I do. I don't care. I broke my arm once playing a gig and I had to play like a week or something. And I finally went back to the doctor and he knew I'd played because he saw the cast was chewed up to shit. I just kept putting duct tape on it. And I came back and the first thing he said, he goes, I can smell from here that we've got problems. And he goes, if you don't stop playing for at least 6 weeks, you're going to have to find a new doctor. This shit's crazy. And I learned because I was so stupid. I know it hurt like hell. And even now, arthritis and all that shit. Yeah. But, it's just a minor thing. You deal with it,
Well, that's one thing in business too. When you're playing all the time, back when we used to play like every night, there was no sick. I mean, unless you were dead.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Seriously, there was no such
thing. I know. Listen, I bet all of us can know exactly the times it's ever happened. And I know this. I've been playing since I was 8 years old, and I've only missed on a few occasions. And it was pretty important shit. It wasn't like, hell, I had a gig once in Tampa where I went across the street to my house gig that I did all the time. And on a Wednesday, they said, well, come on across the street. And so we went down on like a Wednesday night to this place called the Daiquiri Shack. It's one of these places where you buy a $5 drink.
Isn't that St. Pete? Isn't that in St. Pete?
There's one in St. Pete. Actually, I played there with Kenny, years ago, decades ago. And I played there with other bands over the years. It's kind of been there for, people have been getting laid there with the help of beer for about 100 years, probably. It's right on the, it's down in a beautiful part of the best place to be in Florida. One of them, I guess. I have to say I'm partial to Palm Beach, Miami. My family, I grew up around Boca Raton in the summers, that whole deal. I love it in Florida, and I'm glad you're kind of back and still doing it both places. It's a good life.
I love Florida. I mean, there's a certain electricity in the air. I can't describe it. It's just like this, just something about it.
Yes,
even though I love California, I love the mountains.
I love New York.
Yeah, oh yeah, me too.
And
you know what though?
The thing is, that song I just sang that we wrote, I can be happy anywhere. It's your thoughts that make me happy.
Absolutely.
That's basically.
That makes a good song, I think, where a lot of people just, it's like so easy to see. It makes them feel a special way. And everybody's different. We're all wired different. I mean, I've had songs, it's sometimes interesting, a song with a really cheery melody. And then you listen to the words like a Steely Dan tune. There's several of them that are, mildly subversive in the lyrical content. And I always love it. In fact, I purposely listen when I hear something Donald Fagen or Walter, now that he's passed, too bad. But when they write something, if the melody's getting a little too like cheery, I go in my head, I'm like listening for the lyrics very intently because I know there's something going to be some subterfuge or intellectual, psychological, subtle manipulation of the language. I love those guys. I mean, really great pop songwriting and jazz. I grew up with that stuff, and it's good vocabulary stuff. I've been playing all that shit since I was like 12, 14 years old, and listening to Steve Gadd play Asia was just such an experience. The first time you nailed it as a kid, or I nailed it, I was like, oh, I'm a badass. I can play Asia finally. Yeah. Being a teenager, it probably took me 2 months of listening to it. And, records in those days.
Yeah, that's what we did. Right.
But it was great. I mean, tell me, Scotty, when did you first pick up the guitar?
I was about 11. I used to be a tap dancer back in, back in the early days, tap dancing was popular. And I was going to the tap dance lessons one day, and the kids were all laughing at me. And I went home to my parents and I said, I can't do this tap dance, and I'm not feeling this. And I was crying. Yeah, I was crying. My mom said, why don't you play guitar like your father? So that I was about 11. So, and that was it.
That's the best advice you ever got.
So
I know.
Do you and Paula do fancy dance steps while you guys are playing? Can you still cut the moves?
No,
well, I've seen her. Hey, you might just be like the next Christopher Walken. I mean, wow, how outrageous would that be?
Well,
that is a conundrum.
I have an interesting story for you, Neil. I grew up in the projects in Buffalo, New York. I grew up a pole girl, and when I went to school, I wanted to try out for band, right? When I was in elementary school, and they told me I had no musical ability, and that just absolutely crushed me because I knew in my heart I did. You know what I mean? I knew, and that messed with me for a long time. And then I realized in the end, it's because there was only so many instruments to go around. Not every kid could play it, but that's what they should have explained to me. You know what I mean?
And who would know that you're going to play in the White House, singing in the White House one day,
Yes.
The teacher didn't know that, did they?
It's funny you bring that up because I always love watching my friends being successful. And I have to tell you, man, I was just so jealous and enjoying the fact that you guys were there doing it. And I bragged on it for months. I was like, I said, it's like so cool in rock and roll. Who would think you end up playing at the fucking White House, which I don't care who's president. I don't care Republican or Democrat. If I get the call, I'm going and playing. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, no matter how I feel about things, it's the president. And when he asks you to come and play, you show up and you play. That's just how I feel. It's about the office. It ain't about the guy in there. It's about the office. And the fact that you got to do that, I bet when we're old people, we'll still be talking about this amongst ourselves or thinking, I remember how cool that was. Yeah. Some people don't even live a life and have any idea that it can be hard living an unconventional lifestyle to be an artist or a writer or anything. I mean, I don't do any of this crap because I'm making a whole lot of money. I wish I was. It would be nice. People, there's my donation line. Send it on. But again, nothing comes easy.
We didn't pick a safe life. We didn't pick a safe life.
But I pay my bills and play guitar. Yes. I pay my bills playing guitar. I mean,
excellent. Very cool.
My music. I don't want to give kids false hope on that because a lot of kids think, well, I'm not going to become a musician because you don't make money. That's not true. Musicians make a lot of money. You can make money. It's definitely right.
Absolutely. You can make a living.
Back in the day, we did
pretty
big all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, it's not a doctor. You're not a doctor.
No. But if you're dedicated, if this is what you want to do, I always have said it, and it's a cliche, but it's a calling. It's not just something.
It is.
And if you don't have that, it's like if you don't have that in your bones, I've used it as, I jokingly say it's emotional therapy, but it really is to you. It has been to me. It's saved my life many times in my life through good and bad. When we hit the floor, sometimes I just wanted to sit at home and either listen to some music or play some music or write a crappy poem that was going to be music or any number. But I was kind of a nerd kid anyway. I mean, I'm kind of a wild maniacal.
Nerdy, weren't they?
Van nerdy.
I think, we're misfits. We're outsiders. No,
absolutely. I kind of, I was able to, because I was in the band, like the jocks, I could make their projectors or watch their stupid football plays. So they thought I was cool. And then, they realized that musicians get to hang around with cool chicks, And so they were like, he's kind of cool, he's okay. But
a guitar's a chick magnet.
Right? Well, there's a price to be paid for being a creative. And it's also the best life in the world you can have if you can sort out your life and like at this point in my life, I'm really a happy guy. There's times I wish I've done things differently. But again, you can second guess yourself till you die. Why not just keep trying? Worry about what's in front of you. This show, guys, as you can tell, I'm not a professional journalist. I'm not even a journalist. I'm just a smartass. But you do. You have to work for it. And like a band, this felt to me like starting a band. Only thing was, it was only me. Yeah. And the show's gotten so much better. We got Julie on deck now. She's my co-host, and having a show that works well, it's like having a band. And the fact that when you just start to gel, it feels so cool. It's like when things are when there's wind under your wings and you feel like, wow, I've been busting my ass we're up to 8 months now.
Congratulations.
Right after COVID, I started, and we've been on it, and it's changed a bunch. The fact that we can do this and switch and have a decent backdrop, and
Sure.
for the most part, I started it with an iPad and an iPhone, and I had Warren Zevon's wife agreed to an interview. She's one of my first people that anybody might recognize the name, and all hell went loose. And it's actually a really funny show because at the time I was unglued. I'm never stage fright. Hand me a mic or give me some sticks. I'm up. I'm ready to cop. I don't even care. I mean, I've been playing my whole life. If you play a song that's out of the past 1,500 years that we all know, I probably played it because probably a lot of times, either at home learning and I think that translates into so many other, cool things. But speaking of creative, do you have another song? We're almost at the end. We're going to have to wrap up.
Which one do you want to do?
I don't know.
Name one.
Name one. Oh, I don't want to do that because then it'll be a big band thing. I have to say, how about something that you wrote off the album for your sister?
Okay, Butterfly. You want to? Okay, it might be a little bit sad now. Since I lost my twin unexpectedly, and she kind of collapsed in front of me. We're actually in Niagara Falls, of all places, when it happened. This is what this song is about. And I remember I played it for a fellow twin who lost their twin, because I belong to a twinless twin group. And I remember tears were streaming down his face. But this is called Butterfly. We'll just play maybe like a verse and one chorus of it.
All right.
I watch them cover you in blankets, pumps, and wires. They plugged every hole, hoping you wouldn't expire. No matter what they did, you never opened your eyes. I knew that you were getting ready for flight. So fly so far away from me. You're out of touch, not out of mind, butterfly. Oh, I cried when I had to say goodbye. With wings and pearls, will you emerge, butterfly? I know you're somewhere out there, just beyond my reach. Turning to something else, beautiful energy. Yeah. So fly so far away from here. You're out of sight, not out of mind, butterfly. Oh, I cried when I had to let you go. You're free to fly beyond the sky. Goodbye. Oh, butterfly. We haven't done that song like forever, but anyway, thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. I want to thank you guys for coming on. I look forward to hanging sometime. I'm going to be doing some shows. I will. And, I'm going to try and do some shows around the country. The first one's going to be out of Nashville, and that's in April. We'll see how things unfold. We're getting some sponsorship opportunities. And so, hey, by the way, everybody, this show is for sale. If you got a lot of money, I've got a deal for you. At any rate, in the meantime, we'll keep doing it the way we are, the old-fashioned way. This is my version of the early garage band phenomenon.
Love it.
My garage is a little cooler, and
Love it.
it's like I have a green screen, obviously, and my backdrop's not bad. I got all my guitars and crap there, but it's really nice to have you here. And I will tell you, if you're ever up here, in fact, when things straighten up, we'll stay in touch. I know I have connections in Asbury Park. I'd love to get you guys playing at the Stone Pony. It would be a great place, or one of the other. Okay. It's a good time, and it's kind of a place like the whiskey. It's got the mojo in the walls. I don't know what it is, but when you go there, you'll feel it. It's like you've been to France, walking in Notre Dame. I defy someone to walk in there and not have an unusual.
Right before everything happened.
It had a vibe to it. You're right. Good point.
I walked in and just was like, wow. And I looked at the worn stone right before you walk in at the doors.
Yeah.
And I thought of how many people had walked over this in history.
Right.
And it just blows your mind. I mean, it really does.
You remember that the Erie pipe organ too?
Yes.
Oh yeah. It was so tragic what happened with that. I still blows my mind.
Mortified by that. It was terrible.
Gosh, that was, and I don't know. With all the economic troubles, I've heard that the rebuilding project's got some problems. There was a lot of money put up, but it's going to take, of course, it's like anything. It's going to take more money than they thought. And
what's so sad is that the original.
They've got to do it, and they need to get stonemasons who it's the kind of job that they take for life. These young apprentices, because there's no other way to build something like that using just hiring, Trump Construction or any other construction company. Bechtel, what's the guy, Osama bin Laden's dad? He's in spite of having a name, he's not one of those terrorist type of guys. He's been in construction for years, and hey, he has like 12 kids. He's got one or two that ran a little rogue. I mean, hell, it happens. I'm kidding around, but I'm glad he's not my son. Wake up one morning, you're like, what in the fuck? A couple of weeks ago, he was eating Cheerios downstairs, and he was just fine. Like, it's like Custer, he said, I don't know what got into these Indians. They were fine at the dance last night. I mean, shit. But I digress as always. And it's great to have you on. I look forward to hanging sometime.
Thanks for having us. I'm glad we finally got a chance to get it together.
Yeah, for sure.
Me too. And, I keep following you. I've been, watching what you all are up to at a distance, always enjoy it. And you're great. So I look forward to the new record. What is the timeline before we go?
Like I said, I'd say probably a couple months.
Yeah, we should have it out before May.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to say this. Hopefully this will be out by summer and kicking ass, if not a little earlier. You've been live with Neve, Gypsy Queen, Scotty, and Paula. And Julie is being our switcher today. And we hope you have a great time. We'll see you. You've been on Live with Neve, and we're out of here. It's 3:03.